Hey, what's up, chess fans? We have a couple of guests here with us. We've got Jordan, my niece, and we've got Elvis.
Thank you very much. I played these two chess masters before a couple weeks ago, and I beat them, and hopefully you guys can do the same. Here's Jordan.
What's up, chess fans? We're here on Lead Chess doing the World Championships 2018. Yeah.
All right, thanks for helping out. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we've got these two grandmasters, Fabiano Caruana as the black pieces and Magnus Carlsen as the white pieces for the first time. And so we start off with, what are we starting off with? With d4, the queen's pawn, and then the Indian game says, and then Indian game knight's variation, queen's pawn, and then symmetrical variation. All right, so right here we've got a couple of ideas to take, then just further development. Bishop comes out, castles, and you can see here the time again. Both have not really blinked. You get 30 seconds after each move additional, and yeah, they're going pretty fast. So last time I put in the comments what the game time variations are. Those are at 40 moves, they get another 30 minutes, and I'll put that in the description again. And then at they get 50 moves, rather they get 50 minutes when they've hit 40 moves, and then 30 seconds still each one. And then if they hit another 20 moves, so once they get to 60 moves, then they get another 15 minutes and then 30 seconds. So that's once it gets past 60 moves, whether they're down on time, we'll see here, and that time will be added, or who's maybe the better prepared. Okay, bishop, rather the pawn. Now this is being defended. Now we've got some tension in the middle here. Takes with the d pawn. Bishop recaptures. Queen up. This is the first serious move. Just a kind of quick little step, maybe looking at just putting some pressure on if any of these are taken, and then something like that. Knight comes out, then the pawn goes up on a3, queen comes over. So then this is where, when it was going on, a lot of analysis were saying that this could be a possible fork here, but it's not a fork because this would just be winning the A rook here. Okay, and then quite a few variations on that were looked at. So the rook slides over to get out of that pin to try to put him in a fork. He ignores that threat, Fabiano. We're still pretty early, 10 moves, not a lot of think time. Bishop comes up, maybe getting ready to castle. That move actually took, if you look at that, that took 17 minutes there for him to come up with this idea for Magnus. And the computer says too that it's pretty even on, I think even maybe black is up a little bit here because of positioning potential. Then the knight comes in. Then we castle, and then we've got our first take here with the knight. I want to just, before we do that, I want to just look at this variation. I saw a couple of people talking about this idea that just if this is moved here, then the idea could be for bishop takes, and then pawn takes, and then knight takes, and then looking at having to move your queen, and then potentially, just getting that material back with this idea too. of wherever the queen is moved. So there's a lot of tricky analysis in there, and as you see the second match, that they're both playing top level chess. Okay, so that's why we have the takes there. And then again, not able to do that, so Magnus doesn't want to trade queens yet. Actually, that would be losing the queen if he would have taken with that. Then pawn up. And then there was a lot of thought about this too, just winning the pawn there. So that's why Magnus has that protection there. Dropping back with the knight. Then the knight jumps in here because it couldn't before, because the knight was there. Okay, so it's just getting in a better position. And this is where it does say it's an inaccuracy, and if we wanted to go down this line, you can check it out. Best move they're saying was knight to d2. Okay, we can just look at that really quick. Going back here, protecting this maybe, or something like this. Then the bishop slides over, rook slides back over, queen up. So as you see, there's a lot of ideas with that move. So a lot of variations. We'll just continue on. Move 16. Magnus is down on time. He's got a good 30 minutes behind. And now this is kind of an uncomfortable little pin here for the knight. Takes with the pawn. And now he needs to do something, or he's going to be losing, well, potentially losing his knight here. Takes, takes, takes. 40 minutes, we're at move 16. Throwing a punch at that knight. And so he takes the bishop, recapture with the pawn, and takes with the bishop, and then we have takes with the rook, so an intermittent move, so the queen's going to have to recapture, then take with the pawn, take the bishop, and we're even on material. If you see, we have 2 pawns over here and 4 pawns on, so the pawns are similar, and maybe this king even needs to be worried about back rank mate issues. Obviously top level, they don't want to even sacrifice one move if it's not needed. So the queen comes up right away, eyeing that pawn, and so Magnus defends, actually doesn't even care about it, allows him to take it, and that would have been for an interesting idea. Queen up, rook, bishop over, eyeing that pawn. Both these pawns now are being seen by the queen. Let's see, the queen can get either one, and so this is where Magnus has to evaluate that idea. 25 minutes to an hour and 11 minutes. And so the bishop, because the queen was protecting the bishop, now it doesn't have to protect the bishop. It can go after either one, and Magnus sees this, and then he's offering that queen exchange. He doesn't want this queen to get active and just start taking these pawns and then going after this pawn potentially. So the threat here is then, if he doesn't want to sacrifice, which obviously he sees, is that he would take the rook, and so that would be losing. So he exchanges them, exchanges the bishop, and now he has a flight square, the king. So we're at the end game. And we're at move 27, so Magnus is down to 16 minutes. And then, obviously, that would be a blunder if he takes. He'd be losing his rook. So he just avoids it. Again, if he takes again, then he's losing his rook. Obviously, they know that. Takes, putting pressure there, over, winning that pawn. Now he can take his pawn, so we're at 4 to 4. This structure for black looks much better. 18 minutes. Now we've got some maneuvering, allowing him to take this pawn if he wants it. Then he changes his mind. With check. And then he takes. Trying to find a way to just get this pawn here. Constant checking back and forth. We've hit move 40. So the time, let's see, what was he at for time? 13 minutes. Pretty comfortable that he was going to make that time increment. 50 minutes. So we've got an hour more in this end game. He's trying to pick up that pawn. Fabiano's not giving him an inch. He wants to win this game. Takes. 3 to 2 now. This rook hasn't moved yet because Magnus, maybe he's going to try for that. Then he would just move it up. Now he moves the rook. Now he right away goes for the pawn. And he gives him a check while protecting him. Slides back. Slides back, looking at getting the pawn again. Just a couple more moves here, and then that's it. So they've decided game 2 that it's a draw. And then obviously the computer for Lee Chess only had 1 inaccuracy. If you wanted to look at the computer evaluation for Magnus with that pawn, and then yeah, just a close game overall, and we are tied 1 game apiece now, and the World Chess Championship will go 12 games, and whoever gets 6.5 points first wins. Thanks for watching. And so to get you guys out there motivated and watching the whole video, this video, no one will regret the time dedicated to chess, as it helps in any profession. Tigran Petrosyan. So go out there, have some fun, play some chess. Check me out, Z Joker, if you want to play me sometime. Thanks again for watching. Have a good day.